Hey there, it's your Uncle Steve, and welcome to A Minute to Pain, brought to you by More Than Exercise and morethanexercise.com. Today I want to talk to you about something that's near and dear to my heart, something that I've seen going on in the fitness business for a little bit of time now. It's a bunch of my colleagues have been talking about it. It's the propensity for the fitness business to stink, and for fitness professionals and companies and businesses and the whole nine yards to be dropping the ball on the issue of fat loss. And so today, this is going to be a little longer video. Today, I'm going to talk to you about why the fitness business sucks, cold hard facts on fat loss, and I'm about fine tuning the whole lean process. All right. I plagiarized a little bit of material from some of my colleagues, Sarah Spalding, Nathan Trenso, some of those guys like that, and so I'm going to give them credit because I've used some of their ideas in what I'm going to talk about. But this is something that I've been talking about for a while, and I know these folks have been talking about it for a while, and just something we see that just frustrates us. And so we want to be able to give these points to you and give you some tools in the toolbox so that you can get through this and achieve success and be happy with what you're doing. So with that said, the number one thing that I want to talk about is, with all this people in America, around the world even, utilizing gym memberships and fitness professionals and things like that, obesity rates are still sky high. And this is despite the multi-billion-dollar fitness industry, the millions of options people have, the approaches they have, the opinions they have on fitness from all kinds of experts and gurus and even doctor types. I mean, you couple all this with the thousands of people on social media and other media venues that are willing to share their opinion, and you have one thing that comes from all of it, and that's confusion. People are just confused about what to do. Virtually all of these myriad of fitness options don't work unless you do two basic things, and that's eat supportively and exercise reasonably. You don't need some high priced fitness trainer or fancy exercise program to be a success or to reach your goal. That's just, you don't have to have that. It helps in some cases, but the truth is, most of those people in the programs are a waste of your time or a waste of your money. And something even more important, and that's your time, because you can't get time back. Money you can get back, but time you cannot recoup. I'm a fitness professional. I've been in the business for 30 years. And like you, I've got a mortgage, I've got bills, I've got, things I need to do, pay for, and I want to eat. So I'm not opposed to making money from what I do, but I refuse to sell things and advocate for programs that either they don't work long term, or they produce questionable or irresponsible results from a health, fitness, fat loss, or wellness standpoint. I also don't want or need your money enough to do something just to give you a short term result or risk hurting you or losing your respect. So, with that said, I want to refine and kind of tune in the fat loss process. And if you watch my video a week or two ago on the whole process, I'm going to refine some of those points I made. Number one, I want to talk about diets. Now, if you're the type who has trouble with consistency, you need to avoid fad diets. Fad diets, you don't need things like a cleanse or a detox, a ketogenic regimen, or paleo, the Mediterranean diet, or Atkins, or any of 100 other things out there. I mean, do they work? Sure. Are they sustainable for the average individual? The answer is no. All right. All you really need, and I know this is a shocking revelation for some of you, but all you really need is food and drink like God makes it and consistency. That's it. See, when I think of diets, I look at three things. Number one, is it simple? Number two, is it doable and healthy in the long term? Number three, will it help to develop better nutritional habits long term? And if the answer is no to any or all of those, I don't recommend or advocate for it. I'm also not a fan of the rapid fat loss diets. I used to try to sell those things, I used to do those things, but I quit because I realized they don't work and they don't stick. You see, nothing in nature happens quickly. You don't go from being an infant to an adult overnight. It happens, for most of us, it takes 18 years, all right, minimum. Anytime you introduce something like that, be it a nutritional change, an exercise regimen, there's an acclimation to the new lifestyle and the new body. All right. It doesn't work when people win the lottery. You've heard the story. People win the lottery And in 4 years, they're broke again because there's no acclimation process. There's no time to adjust to that sudden onslaught of wealth and the ability to do things. And so they circumvent the process. Trying to shorten the adjustment period or the acclimation phase also shortens the success time for fat loss. It doesn't stick. So I want things that are going to stick. So if you're going to try to do some sort of fat loss process, you got to give it a minimum of 12 weeks. 12 weeks is what it's going to take time for you to actually see some progress. If you're not willing to stick it out for at least 12 weeks, don't do it. All right? Because you're not going to see success. It's not going to stick, and you're just going to get frustrated. Now, I'm going to tell you why you're still getting fatter, all right? In my view, there are two reasons why many folks have such struggles with dropping body fat and getting lean. Number one is poor information on what it takes to drop body fat. Most fitness professionals that I know don't have a clue what it takes. They like to think they do, but they don't. Some of the dumbest things I've ever heard recommended in the quest for fat loss come from fitness professionals. But it isn't just limited to them. I see from the medical field, supplement manufacturers, and these BS experts on the interwebs every day who want nothing more than your money. If it sounds too good to be true, believe it or not, it is. Number two is food manufacturers selling garbage that's supposed to pass for healthy meals, snacks, or supplements. Again, these money-grubbing experts bent on getting your hard-earned money and not caring if you get results you want or not. They don't care if you eat their food. They only care if you buy their food. Be aware of that crap. Here's a little something on why you're putting on weight even though you're trying to drop body fat. Now, this doesn't pertain to all of you, but a vast portion of you. Did you realize in the last 45 years, fat consumption has declined? All right, so the average individual is eating less fat than they used to. However, calorie consumption has slightly increased by about 5%. However, the obesity rate has skyrocketed from 6% of the American population in 1965 to about 65% in 2010. 65% increase in obesity level in the American population. So, has fat consumption and eating too much made us fat? No. We're doing two things differently. We're doing some things differently than we did 45 years ago. All right. Number one, the manufacturing process of sugar and flour has improved. Number two, the consumption of sugar has skyrocketed. And number three, the consumption of flour has skyrocketed. Now, in countries that consume excessive sugar and processed carbohydrates, they're all obese and they all suffer from type 2 diabetes, hypertension issues, atherosclerosis, arteriosclerosis, those kinds of things. The countries that avoid sugar and processed carbs, they consume more natural stuff like lean meats, vegetables, nuts, a few dairy products. They tend to be very healthy and they have very little disease and very little obesity issues. Believe it, there's a correlation there. All right. So the bottom line, fat and calories do not create body fat. Sugar and simple carbohydrates do. If you're serious about fat loss, get rid of the processed and refined garbage in your refrigerator, in your cupboard. Eat real food, drink clean water, unsweetened coffee, or unsweetened tea. I know that's shocking, but that's the way it's got to be done. All right. Let's talk about exercise for a second. Now, exercise is a big one for me because it's kind of close to home and I'm a fitness pro. Effective fat loss is dependent upon only two things. Number one is a caloric deficit, and number two is muscle. And believe it or not, it's really that simple. If you create a caloric deficit, in other words, if you take in fewer calories than you expend, then your body's got to use your fat stores for energy. You know, if you're not putting a lot of calories in your body's got to have energy from something. If you've got excess body fat on your body, it's going to use it. So, what uses energy? Muscles, all right? They're like constantly idling engines. Make them work, and they require refueling. Get more muscle, and your engine and energy demands increase. So, if you add muscle to your body, your energy levels go up. It's simple. Cardio doesn't give you that. I hate to burst your bubble. And like I've said before, getting off the toilet when you're 80 years old is not a matter of cardiovascular endurance or oxygen carrying capacity, but strength. So is balance. Walking to avoid falling, pushing, pulling, carrying things, and getting through life. Muscle is life, all right? Because muscle leads to fitness and bone density and metabolism. Cardio can be a part of that. but it isn't the biggest portion of the pie, so to speak. All right. I have a client right now whose wife is dealing with some very severe issues from a lack of strength, falling, breaking bones, that kind of thing. So uh, lift weights, do some sort of resistance training, strength training exercise to benefit you when you're older, not just for now. Right? Think long term. Now, I'm going to rag on some places here, but all these exercise places advocating the fat burning workout or the killer workouts that leave you breathless or feeling like you want to puke, and maybe you're sore for days on end. They may make you feel like you're doing something productive, but more than likely you're just wasting time, and that's from a fat loss standpoint, or you're working towards a really good injury. See, I had a conversation just yesterday with a physical therapist who said in her clinic alone, and this is one clinic in San Antonio, a population of 1,400,000 people. They see approximately 25 to 30 new exercise related injuries, and I'm talking shoulders, knees, backs, that kind of thing, from a program that rhymes with Boss Mitt. Exercise is supposed to be beneficial and effective. It's not supposed to be crippling, all right? So, the bottom line here, the real keys to success in dropping body fat, they're very few, all right? Number one is you need sleep. In my opinion, it's arguably the number one tool in your effective fat loss toolbox. If you're not getting adequate sleep, you're not recovering. You don't get better from how hard you work out. You get better from how well you recover from how hard you work out. So if you're not getting adequate sleep, you're not doing yourself a service. Number two is you got to create a caloric deficit through supportive eating habits, which means single ingredient, whole foods nutrition, clean water, and portion control. Also, if you're really, really serious about dropping some body fat, you may want to investigate intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting works because it very, very effectively creates that caloric deficit. Number three is you got to lift heavy stuff because muscle is both the fix and the key to every bit of it. Bone density, hormonal regulation, muscle strength, muscle equals metabolism. Pick up heavy stuff. I don't know how to say it any more clearly. Number four is keep things simple because complexity kills execution. If you make things too complex, you're not going to follow through. You may start out, but you're not going to follow through because it's not sustainable. Basic exercises and basic food and drinks aren't sexy, but they work. They always have, and they always will. Number five is be consistent. A bad plan done consistently beats a good plan done occasionally. Whatever you do, be consistent. Remember, I talked about giving it 12 weeks. If you're not going to give something 12 weeks, don't start it because you're just going to get frustrated. Number six is stop believing the hype of the next best thing from the fitness experts and the gurus. This includes exercise, diets, and supplements. Basic, simple stuff works. It doesn't have to be magic. It doesn't have to be some magic potion or some promise of some future gain. Basic stuff just works. And this is the big part, all right? Number seven is believe that you can do it because you can. I can point you in the direction of a bunch of folks that I've worked with, that I've met, that I know who've done it. And they've done it through just basic, consistent effort. You need to believe that you're an amazing person already because you are, despite what society, a scale, a tape measure, or a mirror might reflect back to you. You're wonderful just like you are. You've got a tremendous personality, a tremendous potential. You need to believe it. And if you want to be more healthy and fit, then take the steps necessary to get you there. But above all else, stop comparing yourself to other people. You're really, really great at being you, and you really, really suck at being somebody else. You cannot eat or drink or exercise and have someone else benefit from it. And I really, really doubt that someone can do the same for you, and they probably wouldn't even if they could. All right. So be you and do you and be happy. Work hard, be consistent. If you need questions answered, I'm here for you. My phone number, my email address are below. If I can help you, I'd love to do it. And if you have any questions on anything else, please just get a hold of me. All right. Thanks for listening.